in our last video, Kylene decided that oats would be our #1 long-term food storage choice. So we decided we're going to have a little bit of a beauty pageant of foods.
Because he didn't agree.
Hey, Provident Preppers, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Kylene. And food storage is incredibly important. It provides us with an insurance policy to make sure that no matter what happens, we have some of the basics to eat to prevent from starving to death. That's why we're so into food storage. We want to make sure that we've always got something to eat. Now, we had been having a little discussion between the two of us about which is the very best. If I could only have one, which one would I choose? And of course, we couldn't agree.
That's okay. It's okay.
Is it okay?
Oh yeah, it's all right.
All right, because we can have more than one.
Oh yeah.
So,
there will be a card in the corner for the previous video so that you can actually hear all about oats, but oats, I've just been crowned the pageant winner in our little beauty pageant. So, since she got to choose the winner, I get to choose the first and second runners up. We're going to have a little discussion. These are all 30-year food storage items, and as I've said before, we don't want to wait 30 years to use them, but they'll last that long if we need them to. And so that's the really cool thing.
And they're packaged in number 10 cans. These were purchased from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints home storage centers. They are only available in the United States, but you can also, if you can't make it to one of their home storage centers, you can purchase it online. Now, I'll also leave a link to some other food storage providers, but this just happens to be the very least expensive for quality food. They don't have a huge variety, but they do have a great price, so it's a great foundation for your food storage.
Right. And I should mention, we don't have any affiliate relationship with them. We just have found this to be the best place to get long-term food stores, and that's where we go to. So anyway, we're going to kick this off, and we're going to talk about the talents of each of these foods. Since this is some kind of a beauty pageant, I'm going to kick this off with wheat. And I love wheat because I love waffles and I love bread. I mean, you can also use this like a whole grain cereal. You can sprout it. You can crack it and have I don't mind cracked wheat cereal. High in nutrients, high in versatility. What else, Mama?
I can't eat it.
Yeah, she can't eat it.
And so that's important to understand too, right? You only want to store the things that you can eat. But because so many of our family members love bread and flour and wheat, that's why we store it.
Absolutely. Second here we have beans, and Mama gets so tired of me eating beans. Beans are super high in nutrients. They're very heart healthy, actually fairly high in protein and calories. So there's a lot of great nutrients here.
And they do have, they carry different kinds of beans. There's white beans, there's black beans, and there's pinto beans. And each one of those actually have a different nutritional spectrum. And so we store all of them, and we store some other beans too. But I think that's a great plan. I just, not 4 or 5 times a week. That's a lot of beans.
And then instant mashed potatoes. Now, I didn't think these would be a 30-year food, but they are. They're not super high in nutrients, but they have calories. And we mentioned in the last video that, like oats, you could actually use them without cooking them. You could soak them and eat them. You could do the same thing with these. You could use these with cold water. Not as tasty, obviously, but you could do it.
One of the other things is that the variety, like we talked, okay, she won, oats are the best, right? But the truth is you need a variety of nutrients. And so when you have all of these, then you're able to cover the nutrients that you really need, where one of them, it really isn't going to work, so.
Exactly right.
All right, onions. These are dehydrated onions.
I love onions.
They're amazing. They go so well with so many different foods because the beans would be really bad without some other flavors. Okay, refried beans with just salt are okay, but this just makes everything taste better, and it has important nutrients in it.
Right, not a lot of calories. There's not a whole lot of calories in there, so that's certainly a consideration, but but actually very tasty.
Yes. The black beans are a complement to his, right? Black beans actually have a lot of nutrients in them that are different than that, and they're my favorite. Well, pinto is his.
Right.
And then white rice, another thing that I can't eat. The white rice, there's not a lot of nutrients. The nutrients that are in white rice is actually just vitamins that have been put on the outside of it. The thing that makes it so good is that it's very caloric dense. The caloric density means that you can put a whole bunch of garden vegetables over this that have the nutrients but don't have the calories. And so that's one of the reasons why it's really good for your food storage. Brown rice has a short-term shelf life. That's what I can eat, so we have to rotate through that very frequently. But white rice has that 30-year shelf life, which, like we talked about how long it'll last on the shelf, and that's really not good. We want to really rotate through this stuff, but if you do just tuck it away, it's going to last for a really long time.
Right.
So now I'm interested to hear.
Yes, this is a very, very difficult decision.
Because we didn't agree on this.
Because I take my food very seriously, and and she thinks that I'm going to choose rice as one of the runners-up.
I would think so, because you're always like, we have fried rice Friday. You make rice in the rice pot almost as often as you make beans.
Well, not quite as often, but yes, I do eat some rice. But I'm sorry, rice.
Oh, not rice? That surprises me.
You don't get to be a runner-up. And black beans I love. And I should mention before we go any further, I agree that oats are just an amazing food. And we had some of that discussion, but these are really amazing. So it would be in my top 3 or 4.
She's taken the lead.
Yes, she has. Black beans, I love black beans, but not as much as pinto beans. So
I like the black beans.
Sorry, pinto beans.
Black
you did
beans?
a good job. Black beans. Sorry, black beans. You did a good job. And onions, I actually love onions a lot, but that didn't make the top 3. So we're down to 3. I love potatoes, and these are so easy to make. For Mother's Day, I was fixing dinner, like trying to be a good son and husband. And I was going to do real potatoes, but I got these out, and they were so easy to make, and I love them. And
the other day, I made this really good soup for Benjamin. We were leaving for the day, right? And so I just thought, okay, I'm going to make this homemade soup for Ben, and I made it as a potato soup base. So I just added this to the chicken broth and all the vegetables that were in it. And we called to check on him before we came home, and he'd eaten the entire crock pot of the soup.
Gone.
Like gone.
Totally.
So this is really good at creating other foods besides just mashed potatoes. It works wonderfully well in breads. Like it makes them the texture better and them raise better, and there's a whole bunch of reasons. In fact, we created a whole video on potato flakes and what you can do with them, so I'll leave a link for that. But somehow I think he's not choosing this one.
Yeah, I love you, but so now we're down to 2, and this is a hard decision, but wheat, you are first runner-up. Because there's so many things that I love, my bread and waffles and pancakes and all those things. But a close second runner-up would be the beans. And, again, lots of nutrients, lots of calories, long-term storage life. So there you have it.
So number 1 would be oats, because I got to pick first.
Yep, you're going to rub that in, aren't you?
I got to pick first.
Yes, you did.
But then he couldn't choose just one. He had to choose 2, right?
So that's where the beauty pageant came in. Okay, we have a first runner-up or second runner-up so that I could get 2 choices.
And if it really is a beauty pageant, I get the director's choice. Because I think this storing cocoa powder or my chocolate is super, super important, because I can make so many things delicious if I just add some chocolate.
Not a surprise at all. Not a surprise.
So now, for the question of the day, what would your number 1 long-term dry good be for your food storage? And why? Comment below.
And how about runners-up? Let's not forget about runners-up. Thanks for your comments, and thanks for being part of the solution.